Hey, how many of y'all know that God's steadfast mercies are new every morning? I just thank God for allowing me to be here today because a year ago, I didn't know if I was going to make it. I was having so much anxiety and depression that I felt like I was going to lose my mind. I felt like I just wanted to die. I felt like I just didn't have anything to give to the world. I felt like I wasn't worthy of my family. I felt like I wasn't worthy of just being alive, just taking the next breath, that everything that I had did was just useless. And so for God to have delivered me from those thoughts, those toxic thoughts, those thoughts of just wanting to die, not wanting to be alive, wanting my family to have another mother, another wife, because what good was I? What good was I to them? Especially in the state of mind that I was in. I just didn't want to be around anymore. I just didn't want to do anything. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was just done with life. How many of us are just done with life? Sometimes we just feel like you just don't want to go on. You just don't want to move forward. You don't want to push anymore. That things have just happened in your life to the point where you just want it all to end. You just want everything to come to an end. You want to just stop, quit everything. And I come to that point in my life where I was just tired of going to church. I was tired of being on committees. I was tired of being, a leader. I was tired of trying to be a lead at my job. I was just tired of people asking me for things, tired of just being there for people, just tired. Just tired. And literally and figuratively, I was just tired. Literally tired because my thoughts racing in my head every night when I'm trying to lay down and go to sleep. I could not focus. I could not focus enough to close my eyes and sleep because of those racing thoughts. And then those racing thoughts made my heart race to the point where I thought my heart would just pump right out of my chest. And then not only that, me suffering from chronic pain from my back. That would wake me up in the middle of the night all the time. And then on top of that, perimenopause, going through perimenopause. Just waking up in the middle of the night and just sweating all over my whole body. It was just exhausting. And I just got to that point where I was like, God, why? Why am I here? Why am I going through all of this? It had come to a point where my children were just not in the place where I wanted them to be. They were struggling and having a difficult time. My husband was doing everything he could do to hold this family together, to hold my family together. Everything he could think of, he was trying to do it. But I was overwhelmed. I felt like I was drowning. And so I decided one day, I couldn't take it anymore. I woke up one Sabbath morning and we were getting ready to go actually I was still in the bed and my husband was getting up, trying to get ready for church. We had a long list of things we had to do at church that day. And I laid down in bed and I told him, I said, honey, I just feel like I can't go. I don't know what's wrong with me, but my body is not letting me get up. And he encouraged me. He said, no, you might just be having a bad morning. Once you get up, you take your shower, you get dressed, you're going to feel fine. All will be well. And so I got up. I took my shower. And I just remember going into my closet and standing there staring at my clothes and just staring into space. I was trying to get dressed. I was trying to motivate myself. I was trying to push myself, but to no avail. And I remember my husband, I think he had gone to the basement or something to do some trying to get some stuff ready for church. And I remember yelling out like, help, like something is wrong, something is wrong. But I could barely even muster up enough strength to even bail out my cry. And so I just remember just standing there and just, and I began to cry, and I was like, God, what is wrong with me? Something is wrong with me. My body just hurt all over, and I just felt so numb and tense, and just, I didn't know what was going on with me, but something was definitely going on. And finally I went downstairs and I told my husband, something is wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I got to go to the doctor. I got to see a doctor, and I got to see the doctor now, today. And once again, my husband tried to encourage me, honey, it's going to be okay. We've gone through hardships before. It's okay. The kids are going to be okay. We're going to be okay. All will be well. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden, I just screamed, help me, somebody help me. And the tears are just flowing, and I'm just crying and screaming and crying. And I remember I went to the door to try to leave, and my husband, seeing the state of mind that I was in, didn't want me to leave, so he tried to keep me from leaving. And I don't know, that somehow, triggered something, maybe something in my past, growing up in, with domestic violence in my home. I don't know what it was, but something triggered me. And I began to scream and shout and scream and shout and yell, no, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And I remember just screaming throughout the whole house. It was early in the morning, and my kids, they began to get up. Now, I have older children, grown children. My daughter was 18 at the time. My son was 27. They didn't know what was going on. In fact, I didn't even see them. I can't even recall seeing them that day. And all I know is that I remember at that moment, I was so agitated and so upset. I remember going into the living room and just falling down. I just fell to the ground. For one, I started to have a hot flash, and it was so hot. So I fell to the cold ground, and it felt a little good to me. So I fell on the cold ground, and I still began to cry and to scream and to cry and to scream. And I remember that I just didn't know what was going on. So I grabbed my phone and I called 911, and I told them, come for me. Something is going on that I don't understand. I don't get. I don't know what's going on with my body. I'm losing my mind. Come and get me. Now, when you call 911 and you tell them that you're losing your mind and you don't know what's going on, they're confused, and they don't know what to send. They don't know what to do for you in that instant. So at that time, I remember telling them that I'm in pain, that my body hurts. Come for me. Come for me. I'm in pain. And so they came. And there was a few things in between the time that they came, and they were asking me all of these questions, and I just continued to scream and shout, just take me away. And so I remember they were going to take me on the ambulance, and then my husband, made a suggestion that he would take me. And they asked me, was that fine? Is it okay that your husband's here? I said, I don't care, just long as I get to the hospital to figure out what's going on. And so I remember they had me already on the gurney, and that's when my husband stopped, and he, made this suggestion. And my daughter actually took pictures. I didn't know what was going on during that time. My daughter was so scared and so frantic, she didn't even know what to do or how to feel or what. She didn't know. So she began to take pictures of what was going on. Not to post them, not to show them to anybody, but she just didn't know what else to do. So she began to take the pictures. And as I looked back at those pictures, I said to myself, something really was going on with me, because I am very much claustrophobic. I don't like being in tight spaces. I don't like being confined. I don't like any of those things. And I looked back at that photograph of me, and they had me tied down from neck to my feet. I mean, completely tied down. I'll show the pictures. And I said, my God, something was really wrong with me, because I just lay there stiff like a mummy, allowing them to take me away. And at that moment, my husband, I remember, they took me off of the gurney and put me into my husband's car. And we began to go to the hospital. And when we got to the hospital, they're still trying to figure out what's going on. I don't understand what's going on with you. I says, I don't know either, but something is going on. And I remember they had a psychiatrist do a phone conference with me. And he began to ask me questions about what's going on. And I began to tell him everything that's going on with me. And he says, well, you know what? I think you're going to be fine. You just need to talk to somebody on a regular basis, get you some therapy, and I think you're going to be fine. And I snapped again, and I told him, I said, no, I can't. I'm not going back home. I'm not going back home. I'm not. And I remember the nurse stepped in and she says, what do you want to do? I says, I don't know, but I'm not going back home. I'm not going back home. She says, are you being abused at home? Is somebody not? I says, no, I have a beautiful home. I have beautiful children. I have a wonderful husband. I just don't want to go back home and feel the same way that I've been feeling. Something's got to be done. And she says, well, the only way that they're going to take you is that if you want to harm somebody or you want to harm yourself. She says, do you want to harm yourself? I says, no. She says, they're not going to take you. I says, well, you know what? I says, I want to die. I want to die. I told her, I said, if somebody right now came and said that they would shoot me, blow a bullet in my head, I would be okay with that. She says, okay, I'm going to get you admitted. And so they take you inside of this other part of the hospital where they keep the mentally unstable people, lack of a better term. I don't know what else to call it. And I was there and I heard people crying out. I heard people yelling. I heard, people just completely out of their mind in there. And I was in my room, and you can't keep the door locked. And the door is actually, it's not a door, a full size door. It has like a little portion of the door that's missing. And so I just remember, people just walking up and down the halls and yelling and screaming, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. And everything. And for a moment I was afraid and I began to pray. And I says, God, I don't know why I'm here, but I know that I'm here for a reason, God. I know that I'm not right. I know that something is going on. I'm not right. And I stayed in that room, that section of the hospital for quite a while until they found me a facility to go to. And I just remember feeling almost like an inmate because of the way, the doors have to, when the big doors, they go and they shut and they lock. And you have on some scrubs, and you have on, they take all of your shoes away. They take anything away from you, and you're just in this, you're in this room that doesn't have, everything is locked. Everything, the TV, there was a TV in there, and it was just, locked. You could see it's all locked up. There was just one little cot inside of the room. No pictures, no nothing on the walls, just nothing. But I lay there. And although I was in so much pain, I felt good. For that moment, I was happy knowing that something was about to change in my life. That I had made the first step for change in my life. And that felt good. I was hungry. I was so hungry because I hadn't eaten for the whole day. And by this time, it was about 10 o'clock at night. And so they asked, did you want anything to eat? Yes. And so they brought this dry sandwich. It was so dry. And I don't remember what else came with the sandwich, but all I remember, it was a very, very dry, and it didn't taste that good of a sandwich. And it was, I think, maybe some chips or something to go with it, and some sweet tea. Well, let me tell you, it felt like I was eating a prime rib steak, baked potato, loaded with everything on it. Honey, it was like the best meal I've ever had. For one, I didn't have to make it. I didn't have to prepare it. I didn't have to cook it. I didn't have to, nothing. It was just brought to me. I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm trying not to cry. But when the officer came in there that was assigned to my unit, I guess he could just tell that I was a little anxious and scared. And he looked at me and he said, "You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Don't be scared. I'm here for you. Go ahead and eat your meal. We're looking for somewhere for you to go." And a lot of times, these facilities are filled up, and they're, you have to wait in order to get in. And so I just remember just laying there, and I was so exhausted and just so tired from the day, from just lifing. Like I just remember just lying there on that cold cot. I felt warm in my spirit because I knew that God had not left me. And everybody in that hospital was so nice to me. And it's so good to me. I felt like a princess. I just remember the nurse that said, I got you. We gonna get you taken care of. So I'll be forever grateful to her. Then even the officer who brought me the food and encouraged me. You never know who God is going to send your way to touch you. Then even the time when it came for me to be transported to the facility. And the young lady that came to transport me, there was two ladies, and they were just so sweet. And I just remember walking in my scrubs. And then them handing me a plastic bag with my other belongings in there. And they let me know that the facility I was going to, I wouldn't be able to get any of my belongings until I was let go out of the facility. And I remember getting on that van, that transportation van. And from the outside, it just felt a little cold, and it was kind of cool in actuality because it was in October. But I just remember walking out there with the hospital socks on and getting into the van. The dark of the night. Not knowing what was going to happen to me. Not knowing what the facility would be like. Not knowing how the people would treat me. But I knew that I had to go. I knew I had to do it for myself, for my children, for my family, for my husband. I had to do it. Listen, y'all. When you get tired of being tired, you will make radical decisions for your life. You will step up and make those decisions that nobody else can make for you. You have to be the one to make that decision. You have to be the one to step up and say, I'm done, I'm tired. You have to make that decision. That was the best decision I could have ever made for my life. And I just remember being admitted there, and everybody was so nice. I don't know if you call them inmates, or I don't know what the name you would call it, but the other patients that I was in there in the facility with, everybody had their own issues. Everybody had their demons they were fighting with. Everybody had the pain that they were suffering with. And therefore, people were just so gracious to one another. When it was time to get the meds, hey, everybody's encouraging each other. Did you get your meds yet? Did you get your meds? When it was time for group counseling, everybody coming together and speaking on their pain, or maybe sometimes some people were just, not wanting to converse as much as others. But I will say that if you're not sure what's going on with your life, get some help. Get some help. I was able to get the medication that I needed to help me sleep. I wasn't sleeping well, and so I was given medication to help me sleep, and I did. I was able to sleep for the first time for years. I wasn't having those rushing thoughts. I wasn't having anxiety. I wasn't feeling depressed. I was actually feeling very happy. And it was crazy because I'm a CNA, and I walk around with a tablet every day, checking in on my residents. How you doing? What's going on? What do you need? How are you feeling? And I'm making those notes on the tablet. And now it was reversed on me. I was the patient. It had somebody knocking on my door saying, hey, Lydia, get up. It's time for breakfast. Hey, Lydia, it's time for lunch. Hey, Lydia, it's time to take your meds. Unbelievable. But yet that was exactly what I needed. I needed someone to care for Lydia. I needed someone to care for me. And it felt so good. It felt so good. I felt like I mattered. And nobody knew me. Nobody knew my history. Nobody knew who I was. I didn't have to explain anything to anybody. They just accepted me for who I was at that moment, at that stage in my life. And it's been a year later. It's been a year later. I can't believe it's already October again. But I made so many changes in my life since then. I decreased the amount of work that I was doing at work. I decreased the amount of work that I was doing at church. I made sure that I had a scheduled massage every month. I made sure that I took time to journal what was going on, what thoughts that I was having in my head. I made sure that I got me a therapist. I decided to schedule appointments to figure out why was I in so much pain, and come to figure out I have fibromyalgia. And taking medication for that. I feel good. I feel so good. I feel refreshed. I feel revived. And I just thank God for my family being so supportive. And I remember being inside of the facility and a lot of people just looking at me and was like, you know what, you're really blessed. If you have somebody at home that's waiting for you when you get out of here, and somebody's going to come and pick you up, you are really blessed. And so I began to ponder and think about those blessings. Yes, I'm blessed. And you may not have the family that I have. You may not have the support that I have. But God will send you that help. He will send you that support. But if you pray and you ask God to send you that support team, to send you that village, He will do it. He will do it. And so God has asked me to share my testimonies with the world. The things that are happening daily in my life, God has asked me to share them with the world, so that the world may see Him through me. And so that is what I'm here to do now. I'm just giving my testimony. That's it. No fancy cameras, no fancy lighting. Just me, my little iPhone, giving my testimony because God has been so good to me. And so if you want to follow me and subscribe to this channel, you will continue to see how good God has been to me and to the people around me. Because I believe that when I'm blessed, the people around me will be blessed. So if you are looking for a blessing, tune in. Because I'm here to do it. I'm here to be a blessing. That's it. That is it. God has been truly so good. So amazing. I just cannot even begin to tell everything that God has done for me in this one video. But if you continue to watch, continue to follow and subscribe to this channel, you will see all the blessings that God has bestowed upon me in my life. All right, y'all. This is LMK, Lydia Marcia. Come out. All right, I'll see you next time. When you like it, and when you like it, and you share it, I get to make more of it. When you like it, and you share it, oh yeah, I get to make more of it. So like, comment, and share, and subscribe. All right, peace out. Bye.